Good afternoon, sisters and brothers, and it's good to gather together, even though we're doing it virtually. Hope you all feel well. I feel fine. Uh, I don't know anyone in our congregation that's showing symptoms, so thanks be to God for that, but we sure hold in our hearts our brothers and sisters that do have symptoms and that are sick, and for the families of those uh, who have lost loved ones. We hold them close in our hearts. Um, we've lost a lot of musicians recently. Uh, I think our bishop's most favorite songwriter and musician is John Prine, who just passed of complications from the virus. More of a songwriter, almost in the Bob Dylan style of storytelling. Many of his songs were recorded by other people. We also recently lost Charlie Rich, who, it's funny, growing up in the tradition I did, we could listen to country music, just not rock and roll. But I think the country music lyrics were worse than the rock and roll lyrics. Uh, Charlie Rich is known as the Silver Fox, and I guess one of his big hits was Behind Closed Doors. And the piano player on that was a man by the name of Floyd Kramer, who made famous kind of the where you pull a chord. I'll see if I can do it real quick, like. Well, something like that. That wasn't perfect, but made famous that little lick that on the piano. And I'm probably boring you to death with stuff that you don't care about. Um, we also lost this week Bill Withers, who wrote and sang the song that we often do at Christ the King. Time in your life, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. I can't remember the words. You know, lean on me when you're not strong. Anyway, you know the song. So we lost Bill Withers this week, and also responsible for lots of other tunes that we all would know and love. But for some reason today, I guess Edwin Hawkins is on my mind. Brother of Walter Hawkins, brother-in-law of the great Miss Hawkins, the gospel singer. But back in the time of the war, during the time where we lost Dr. King, during the time where both the Kennedy brothers were assassinated, the world was a pretty dark place. And Edwin wrote a song, and you know it. We sing it around Christ the King. But what's interesting about this song is that it was during such a time that was so dark. Somehow intuitively, I think Edwin knew that what the world needed was a happy note, something to lift their spirits. And this gospel song, what's so interesting about it is that it wound up making it on the gospel stations, radio stations, the country radio stations, the pop radio stations, because somehow I think in the hearts of human beings at that time, they needed something that would lift their spirits. And he wrote this song, and you kind of know it. Kind of need Alfonso here to really do it justice, and maybe some drums and a bass player and some harmony singers, but that's not where we are right now. But, you know, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, when Jesus washed, when he washed, when he washed, he washed my sins all away. Oh, happy day. Remember it? Remember it? In spite of all that's going on, it's Holy Week. So I greeted you on Sunday and held up our palms that we had ready to pass out. But Palm Sunday marks the beginning of our observance of Holy Week together as a faith community. We have 3 big services still to go of Holy Week. Of course, if you're Anglo-Catholic, much more of a formal congregation than ours, there's probably services going on every day, but the big 3 still to come. So Jesus goes into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. And then we have Maundy Thursday, which is tomorrow. Maundy from the Latin mandate. And I think there's probably 2 mandates in tomorrow night's gospel. One is the mandate to take bread and take wine and to remember. Now, we're not able to do that physically right now, but even in good old-fashioned Roman Catholic theology, just the sacrament by desire means that you're participating. So we're taking bread and we're taking wine and we're remembering where we've been, where we've come from, where we've come to. Another mandate in the Maundy Thursday liturgy is that of the washing of feet. Jesus takes a towel and a basin of water, and he goes to wash his disciples' feet, and they say, no, 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 no. And he gives the mandate, as I've served you, now you serve one another. One of the ways right now that we are serving one another is that we're staying apart. I know it's very difficult. I know it's tough, especially for extroverts. I'm not an extrovert, but I have to admit, I'm going a little stir crazy myself, so I can relate. But by doing what we're doing, we're serving one another. We're washing one another's feet. Monday, Thursday, the night of the Last Supper. The next big liturgy to come is Good Friday. The day when we remember that Jesus, who totally stood for love and for the least, yet the powers that be, the power structures, nailed him to a cross. The ultimate sign of letting go and letting be. The good news of Holy Week, however, is that Friday's not the end of the story. We then move to Easter, the celebration of resurrection, of new life, of free at last. It is finished. Life has triumphed over death. Jesus reigns. Bless the name of God Almighty. We're free at last. So as we move through this week, we eventually make it to Easter. Here's our local plan. We've been extremely discouraged from not only the governor but our bishop not to bring folk in to read and try to recreate these liturgies, but to let people stay safe. The diocese is sponsoring a Maundy, Thursday, and Good Friday service. I will mail out the links to those and the times to those. I'll also mail out the link to this webcast for those that, for whatever reason, choose not to join or be a part or even look on to Facebook. I will be back with you Sunday morning at 10 for Easter Sunday. We will celebrate to the best of our abilities. We will share and talk about what it is to be free at last, that life has triumphed over death. And boy, what a Edwin Hawkins kind of theme. If he could sing "Oh Happy Day" when he did, we can sing right now in the midst of all of this, life has triumphed over death. I love you all so much. I miss you. My heart's broken in some ways that I'm not able to be with you. If you need pastoral care, please reach out. Thank you to all of you that have been faithful to mail in contributions. Thanks to you that have texted to give. The number's on the screen, at least I think it is. Just text GIVE to 844-958-0890. If it's the first time, you just have to put in a little bit of information. The next time, you almost have to put in nothing. But remember your church. We're still holding sacred space. We're still holding hope. We're still holding optimism. That even in the middle of this, you know what it is? It's a happy day. It's a happy day. When Jesus washed. When he washed. Wash my sins all away. Probably should be embarrassed the way that I sing and play the piano these days, but just trying to bring a little sense of normalcy and a mini church service under these circumstances with a little bit of life and light and levity. So thank you. I love you all very, very much, and may God's blessings and peace be with you now and forevermore. Amen.